of the best things you can do for yourself here is try to convert every one of these to something similar. To everything to a fraction, everything to a decimal, everything to a percent, however you want to do it. And you may have to do a little bit of work on all these. All four of them. Okay. Now to save ourselves some time, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I know that choice is B. I can tell by looking. What I had to do was divide 1 by 20. You put 1 inside the house and 20 out here. And you would have to bring up your decimal places and add a few zeros to make it right. 20 obviously won't go into 1, 20 obviously won't go into 10, but it will go into 100 5 times. And since you have a blank, you have to put a 0 there. 5 times 20 is 100, with the remainder is 0. That makes that 0.05 in decimal form. Well, we already have that in decimal form, 0.05. And 5% in decimal form, all you do is move the decimal place over twice to the left and get 0.05 that way. Now you would do the same thing for all these. You may have to check every single one of them in this case. Choice B. Which point is located at -4? Well, 0 is obviously right here. I'm going to have to go to the left. As you move to the left, remember, you get smaller. This is 0 degrees, for example. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. This is negative this way. We have -1, -2, -3, -4. What is located at -4 on the number line is choice A. Here we have two parts. We have 1 here and 2 here, and most of this is shaded in. And you may not be able to tell on your paper, but I remember going back and telling y'all we have, in this one, we have everything colored in. So we have 1 hole here. Well, over here we have 6 out of 8 colored in. Well, as you know, 6 over 8 is not fully reduced. We have to reduce that to 3 over 4. But remember, don't forget the 1. We've still got the 1, so the answer is 1 and 3 over 4. The answer is C. Sales of gum increased by 35% last quarter. Which number is the equivalent to that percent? 35% in decimal form, the decimal is right here. In order to make that into a decimal, we have to move the decimal place over twice. 1, 2. We have to move it to the left. Now don't forget, don't move it to the right. That makes it 3,500. That is not the case. 35%, we move it over twice. The answer is 0.35. So for example, if we had 7%, the decimal is right there. We'd have to move it over once, twice. That makes that 0.07 in decimal form. So you have to move it to the left every time, twice. Which number is the equivalent to 3.25? Well, we leave the 3 alone. We know that's fixed. We don't have to do anything with that guy. 25. Well, what would that be as a fraction? Well, I can look at it and tell you it's 1/4, but let's just pretend that you don't know that. Let's pretend you can't eyeball that. You'd have to put 25, you'd move the decimal place twice, and since you moved it twice, you have to have 2 zeros, which is 25 over 100. Well, that will reduce. 25 will go into both of these guys. It'll go into 25 once. It'll go into 100 4 times. And don't forget about your 3 over here. 3 1/4, which is choice D. We can do this problem one of 2 ways. What is the value of this expression? We have 3 minus a -6. Well, I want to change that to an addition problem. That way I can apply my song to it. So I'm going to keep, I'm going to change, and I'm going to flip. Keep, change that to a positive, change that to a positive. We have 3 plus a +6, or 3 plus 6. We're going to do same signs, remember the song, same signs, add and keep. Different signs, subtract. Well, we do have the same sign, so we're going to add 3 and 6, which is 9. Take the sign of the largest number, which is 6. The answer is 9. Now, you have some of these that are really special like this. Negative and a negative. A minus, a negative. Well, only when you have two right next to each other can you connect these two like this and make a plus. And that's the same thing as 3 plus 6, which is the same answer, which is 9. More to come.